Welcome back to Good Morning LaLa. And on this dating, love, and relationship, I love cake. Just saying that we're so excited to have the lady in cake herself, Courtney Rich.
Thank you.
Cake by Courtney. How are you doing?
I'm so good. I am happy to be in my hometown of Los Angeles and being with you guys. This is great.
I have to admit that I actually had a cake addiction. I kid you not, I had a cake addiction like a few years back.
That's not a bad addiction to have, if you ask me.
Every day I was like, where am I to get some cake? Like, there's such extraordinary cake in bakeries these days. It's like a thing.
Yes.
Right?
Oh, it absolutely is. But I think from scratch at home is even better. Absolutely. I mean, I go around anytime I travel. So I do a lot of travel for another job in media consulting, and I've been doing that for 13 years. And I go to New York and Los Angeles, Chicago, Dallas, Atlanta, all over. And every time I go somewhere for work, I'll try a new bakery. But then I compare it to what I can create at home, and I feel like the from scratch is just a little bit better.
Process, right? It's about the whole experience.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I taught myself 9 years ago how to make my first cake. I'd always grown up on box mixes, baking with my mom, creating amazing memories in the kitchen with my mom and my sister and my brothers. And when my son turned 1, so it was almost 9 years ago, I made a cake from scratch. Purely out of intimidation, though, because my in-laws were coming to the party, and they're really good cooks. And I was like, I can't do anything from a box. And so I got a recipe out of Bon Appetit and made my first cake from scratch, and it was literally life-changing. Now, looks-wise, it was a disaster. It was like a brown, round mold. It was not Instagram-worthy, to say the least.
And now your Instagram-worthy cakes are viral.
Yeah. Well, it's been a long process of trial and error, and 3 years ago, I started Cake by Courtney, still while being a mother and doing my consulting job, but wanting to share this love of baking and a passion that I created for myself to share it with other people, because it was bringing me so much joy. It helped me get out of a dark place in my life, and it became my happy place and my safe place in my kitchen. And all of a sudden now I'm doing my own memories with my kids and laughter and just having so much fun with them and my husband, and then sharing that with other people. And that's kind of how Cake by Courtney got started, because I wanted to be able to share those moments with other people and have them then feel that love of baking, but also the joy of sharing and creating and accomplishing something new, and that self-satisfaction that they get from doing it. It's been a fun experience.
I have to say, birthdays, like, there's nothing better than getting a really good birthday cake. I think over all of the presents, because most of us have everything that we need, a cake is something that if someone baked you a cake, that is like the ultimate.
My son baked me
ultimate love.
My birthday cake last year.
Oh, wow.
Really?
It was the best gift. I love baking my own cake, and I have for the last 9 or 10 years. But he insisted that he bake the cake. I didn't help at all. I left him with the babysitter, went out with my husband, they baked a cake, and she said he did like all of it. He decorated it, and he was so proud to give it to me. He had done the whole thing on his own, and just the pride of accomplishment that I could see in his face. And as he watched me eat a slice of the cake, do you love it? I'm like, oh, it's my recipe. Of course I love it, but yes, you did.
He's like, what
so good.
She likes cake.
Yes,
you're gonna make her some cake.
But sharing that and empowering people, men and women, to just try something new, you know, and then they do it, and they're like, wait, I can't do this. And that's kind of my whole goal. Like, if I can do it, you can do it.
It's an interesting thing with baking, to learn to trust yourself.
Yeah.
I was wildly intimidated by it.
Absolutely.
I didn't grow up learning how to cook or bake, and so when I made my first cake, I was like high stress.
Yes.
And when I tasted it, I was so relieved, and I thought, I can trust myself with this. That's such an important lesson.
Yeah, and I'm just giving everyone the tools and the tips to be able to do it. I share everything. All my tricks, all my little secrets. They're not secrets, because I'm sharing them. It's on my website. I do them in my classes. I share them on TV segments, because I just want everyone to experience the joy of being in the kitchen and creating, whether it's a cake or something else.
Absolutely love your business. Of course, I love your energy. And you know, one of the things I find so fascinating is that I'm a firm believer that any experience or activity in your life is a microcosm that you can extract lessons from and apply to the rest of your life.
Absolutely.
Right?
Hey, my favorite one, and this goes great with what Alexa was talking about. In my cake classes, I always encourage people to stop decorating, stop touching the cake when they find one good side. When they find a good side, right? Because not the whole cake is ever going to be totally perfect. I've made hundreds of cakes with buttercream. I don't do fondant. And there's always an imperfection that I wish I just kept fixing and fixing, but when I do, I overwork it, and it makes it worse. So I say stop when you have a good side. Focus on the good side. Turn the back side around, take the picture of the good side, don't worry about it. It's kind of like in our own lives. Focus on what's good. And so there's a message on my Instagram that also I think just intertwines with, let's live a happy life and be kind to ourselves, be kind to others. Totally agree that like those friendships build when we're starting with ourselves and we're happy with ourselves and trying to work on ourselves, being the best that we can and seeing the best in other people. And so I kind of share that through cake a little bit, yeah, which is really fun.
Enlightenment through cake.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's a profound principle, and if you were to just apply it to relationships alone, that one principle would allow you to have happy, harmonious relationships with everyone in the entire world, because you'd only focus on the aspects of them that felt good to you.
Yeah, and I think too, like helping someone find a passion. So maybe they find it in cake like I did, and baking, but maybe they're inspired to try something new after watching some of my stuff, and then they're just kind of starting to live their own best life, and they're focusing on their strengths and their accomplishments rather than their weaknesses and what they can't do. And when we start saying I am and I can, that reflects on everyone around us and all our relationships around us.
For sure.
And we can celebrate by eating cake.
That's right.
Absolutely.
So tell people
always.
where they can find you.
Cakebycourtney.com and
right.
Cake by Courtney on Instagram.
All right.
Easy.
Thank you
Thanks
so much, Courtney. Let's
Thanks for having
Stay tuned. We'll be back with more. Good morning, LaLa.